Hello, all amazing teachers. Hope you're all doing great. This is Veda, education consultant and NLP practitioner. So, I'm very happy to reach you again through this channel, Miracle Maker World. And this video is exclusively we have started for many reasons and for many types of audience. The major audience group, I have just made sure that this is reaching teachers because like teachers right now, they are very busy. They have lots of other responsibilities, but I made sure that this kind of small videos can be very helpful. And as I am also closely working with teachers as an education consultant and NLP practitioner, there are many opportunities. I have been working very close with the teachers, so thought of making some useful content through this video. So today, what I'm going to discuss is I'm going to talk to you about something very important. Many times, whenever I go for this training, teachers training, the moment when I ask what kind of challenges are you facing, what kind of problems are you facing in teaching, that the answers are from it's a combination of people. Some people are freshers, some people are even more experienced, but many times those teachers, they were sharing classroom management is a kind of a challenge for us. Veda, I'm so good at teaching the concepts, because I've been experienced, and I'm so good at it. But many times, classroom control, I'm not able to control my students. Or the management is not that it's not coming to me anymore. So today I'm going to talk about basic three things in this classroom management technique. Classroom management is like an ocean. There are lots and lots of strategies, but today I'm going to talk about the basics, as we always start with the basics. The first thing, the very first pillar for you to create amazing classroom management is the first thing is you have to create rapport with the children. The first thing, creating rapport with the children. What is rapport building? Rapport building is one of a trainer. When I had a conversation with that trainer, he said very simply, the rapport, the meaning of the rapport is increasing the similarities and decreasing the differences. I repeat, the rapport building, the meaning is increasing the similarities and decreasing the differences. So many times as a teacher, when you step into the classroom, we have to make sure that the similarities should be high. I mean, for example, when I was a life skill trainer, when I was a teacher, I always start my class, academic year beginning. I always start with this question, based on their age group. I'll ask, okay, what's your favorite cartoon? Or I say, my name is Veda, and my favorite cartoon is this. Or if I'm handling some teen students, some sixth and above grade, seventh grade students, I always start with, I'm Veda, my favorite movie is this. It's something like increasing the similarities, because they love cartoons, they love games, and they love movies. The moment when a teacher steps in, they feel that this is a different person who's not a friend. They'll have that thought. But the moment when you are going to break those break those shell, you're creating rapport. So that's how you can start your academic year, by first understanding your children, understanding their taste, understanding the pulse, and then you can start exploring that. If you're really a movie watching person, you can give examples in the beginning from the movies or from the cartoon. So the moment when you say that, they feel that, wow, this is not a normal teacher, they are something very close to my heart, right? So create rapport, increase rapport with the children. That's the first step. And the second very important step is ground rule setting is very important. That's important, because see, creating a rapport doesn't mean that it's a kind of a very friendly rapport so that every children can take it for granted and they shout in the class. No, not that meaning. I have a great rapport with my kids, but that doesn't mean that my class is noisy. I have a great rapport. My kids, my students love me, but that doesn't mean that the discipline in the class should be less. You got it? So first, after creating the rapport with the children, I also made sure that these are the certain ground rules that should be in my classroom. So how to frame rules? That's a very important thing. There are no fixed rules. Let me tell you something. Every school, every classroom, even every section, we can have different rules, because the moment when I understand the children, the moment when I understand the problem in the classroom, I have to frame my rule accordingly. For example, let me say, in my classroom, they don't even look at me when I talk. So that is a problem now. And my rule number one is eyes on me. That is rule number one. So I introduce those rules. I say, hey, you know what? I'm giving you two options. Throughout this year, we'll make sure that the class is going to be funny. The class is going to be not like, I'm not going to be like that strict, right? But provided with, there are certain ground rules I'm going to introduce you. If you're going to follow that, the class is going to be so funny. And if you're not going to follow it, the class is going to be strict. So which option you would take? You will have to give those choices to the students, right? So you can have some rules like rule number one, eyes on me, and rule number two, for example, if the students, sometimes they become more energetic and they wanted to answer, all of the students wanted to answer at the same time, so the noise will be high. So I can have a rule like, if you want to speak, raise your hand. That can be my rule, right? So based on the problem, you can frame that, and make sure the first period you have to introduce the ground rules, spend more time to it, re-anchor it, right? For example, after introducing the rule, you'll have to make sure that when a student is not looking at you, you have to say, hey, students, repeat after me, what is rule number one? So they'll all say, yeah, eyes on you. So you can look at that person who's not looking at you, call him, you didn't follow rule number one. You do it again and again, place it over a point of time. When you show this, they will say, okay, rule number one, eyes on me. When you show two, they'll say, if you want to speak, raise your hand. That's how you pace it. So step one, create rapport with your students. Step two, set some ground rules in your classroom, right? And step three, gamify your class. I repeat, gamify your class. Whether you start your concept, or whether you're going to end your concept, or whether you conduct assessments, or whether you are going to ask questions to the children, gamify those experiences. For example, before you start, you can start with a small game. Gamification doesn't mean that playing games. With this, in the same concept, you can have gamified experience, right? For example, you can say, students, let me ask you a question. Okay, for example, you can say a student randomly, and instead of calling them, you can have some some strategy for it. For example, there is something called wheels of names. In Google, if you type, you can have this wheels of names. You can type all the names, it will be appear on the wheel, and when you click spin, it will spin and stop at a student, and you can ask the name. Or you can have some chits in the jar, and you can just shake it and ask them who is going to be the next person. So I'm just giving chances for the students to speak, but I'm gamifying it, right? And when you are giving a task to them, gamify it. For example, when you start your class, you say, okay, students, take your science book, page number 15. This is a small task which you are giving to your students, but you can even add gamification into it. How can you add gamification? Let me tell you. Okay, students, can you all take your science book, page number 15? I'm going to count to 5. 5, 4, 3. So it's a countdown strategy, right? You can do that. So they'll feel like a kind of like they wanted to do it again. Or like you can say, okay, students, take your science book, page number 15, and if you are done, you can snap. You got it? So students, when they open the page number 15, you can have a snap. Students can snap like this, so other children will be also motivated. This is one thing. And second thing, when a student is answering, you will always tell them, cheer for them, motivate, appreciate them. So how they appreciate? They clap, right? Clapping every time, sometimes it becomes monotonous. Instead of that, you can have some creative claps, like bubble clap, or like a rocket clap, or like you just make it like. So they love those things. Even conducting assessments also, we can have lots of games too. There are many tools, gamification tools for doing this assessment. So these are the three major things that you need to take it into account. So there are many other things also, but let us start with these three. The first one, create rapport with your children. First, understand your children and create rapport, increase the similarities and decrease the differences. And the second thing is ground rule setting, very important. right? And after ground rule setting, make sure that you post those rules in the classroom every day. When you start your class, you can start with those ground rules. And the third thing is gamify your classroom. Let me tell you, if you're going to follow these 3 steps, most of the problems related to this classroom control or management will reduce. You can see, and the class, when you start taking your class, children will pick it up. You won't spend much of the time in controlling them. You spend more time in explaining the concepts and spending quality time with the children, right? So this is simple. Like, I mean, we normally say shortening the axe, right? If you're going to follow these 3 steps, your classroom experience is going to be great, right? So please make sure you follow this and let me know your thoughts and comments. Many of you are seeing this video, and thank you so much. But make sure that you subscribe it, and you can also share with your teachers. Thank you so much, all teachers.